What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Collector Strikes Back. Actually, this is episode 7, right?
7 is heaven.
Yes, that's Manny Maldonado, and I'm Edwin San Juan. We are glad that you guys are here. We appreciate you guys checking us out and tuning in with us. Today we have a special guest, Jesus Trejo. How you doing, Jesus?
What's up, man? Thank you guys for having me, man. This is exciting.
Yeah.
I used to get picked on for talking about this stuff. Now I'm making friends. So
We thought we'd open up the Pandora's box for our comedian community. And for those of you guys who don't know, Jesus Trejo is an extremely funny, talented stand-up comic who's been just killing it on stage. So he's our friend and he's here.
Yeah, man. You're like what, 2 specials in now?
yeah, two
Right?
specials in, and yeah, a lot of stage time, and yeah, just trying to get it. It's like it's 18 years of comedy this year, so it still feels not that. It feels like I'm a few years in. It's like
Has it been that long? Because I remember when I first met you when you first started. It's 18 years flies pretty
yeah,
damn fast. Yeah.
yeah, 18 years went by fast, and yeah, it still feels like I'm a few years in. There's so much
Okay.
I want to do, and so much I feel like I still like want to kind of conquer, and figure out. I'm still figuring stuff out,
I
but it
mean,
feels good.
isn't that great? Because like, think of any other job that you would be 18 years in, like you'd probably be hating yourself and like wanting to find another job or what you know what I mean?
A
That's a long
hundred
time when you
percent.
think about it in one place. Because any other job I've ever had, it's only been like 2 or 3 years, and you move on to something else and new.
That's true.
But for comedy, it's just like every year you challenge yourself to get, do better than you did the previous year and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So it's like,
Yeah, and I think it's like like there's this like building of comedy, and
Mhm.
every floor has something different within the same. It's like the building is labeled comedy, but there like you can go anywhere.
Different layers.
Yeah, there's the podcast floor, there's the
Yeah.
writing floor, there's so many things, and I think that's what keeps it like really interesting.
fresh.
Yeah, fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
Feels good. Yeah. So now when you reached out to me the other day, you this is what's cool. This is what we like about the show. We're getting comics. We would say we're gonna have a part of this show called the comics coming out of the closet. All of we didn't know that you were a collector as well. And tell us about that. Like what were you into? Like what are you into?
Yeah, so I remember seeing your podcast, and I was like, man, that's so cool. I reached out, and I was just like, hey man, I think what you guys are doing is great. I,
Mhm.
I I think it's awesome. And again, it's like when it comes to this stuff, there's like this big kind of building of like, I don't know, like like nostalgic kind of cartoons or this kind of movies. And my thing was Pokemon cards and like X-Men stuff,
Uh-huh.
superhero stuff. And I was like, man, it's like I wasn't so much a Star Wars guy, but I
Right.
had that same passion for like X-Men and Pokemon cards and like yeah, stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, this is really cool. Even as someone that doesn't know the Star Wars lingo, I was
Mhm.
like impressed and really drawn into it. I thought that was really cool.
Edwin knows more about he's a very expert on the movies, the stories. He's more into stories. I'm more into the toys. And he likes toys too, but I know various particular toys, names of the action figures and all that stuff. But we bounce off each other well. So we were out there just trying and hustling, but it was good that you reached out. Now with with the like you said, you like Marvel then, right?
Yeah, I like
You like
Marvel.
the direction that they're going as far as movies and all that stuff too?
I think it's like when it comes to movies, you almost have to go at it with like an open mind.
Mhm.
And it's like this is just a rendition. It's like I think any comic book nerd would understand is that when IP is transferred to a specific illustrator, like the storylines, like they bring their own seasoning to it. It's
Right.
like the characters that Stan Lee created when they got handed out to different people. It's like they changed a little bit. You almost accepted that the anatomy was different, the
Right.
the way Spider-Man moved, or like yeah, different characters, even Batman. In the DC world, it's like you almost just have to accept it, and I think that's what movies are. It's like there's different directors, different writers, it's like that kind of thing. So you just accept it for what it is, and you just hold on to what you remember those characters and storylines to be.
So you're open-minded. Are you cool with DC or do you because you know how some people pick alliances, right? Where DC no matter what, or you Marvel, you like them both.
I don't care what kind of smoke it is, I don't want it,
Okay.
and anywhere. Yeah. I've always walked around the smoke, but no, I like it. Is like you can still like Batman, Superman, and Wolverine. You know, I mean, it's like these were like the characters of our upbringing. You know,
Yeah,
Right.
so
definitely.
it's like there's so many amazing amazing movies. Yeah, Avengers is like Ant-Man, and it's like Thor. You know, it's like all these movies that have come out have definitely given like a due episode to each of these characters to get to know them a little more. I think that's important.
Okay.
I think what I love about the movies is when you read the comic books, you're left with your imagination. But then, like in the past, I mean, technology has caught up to where they can make those movies now. Like
Totally.
Superman flying, like when they had the TV series, you could totally tell how
Yeah.
cheesy it was,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
The string.
But now you could have Superman floating in the air, like it's like, and his cape's moving in the back, and it's like, wow, it's incredible. So, like, I remember the first Fantastic Fours when they were trying to make, and they made the thing all it just looked really whack.
Mhm.
But we were such fans of it, you just wanted to see anything put out on it, you
Right.
know. So,
You talking about the one with the Jessica Alba one?
I mean, she's fine, bro. She's such a
Even though people gave bad reviews, that it's cool.
she's invisible and she's
Yeah.
still fine.
Yeah, she's a hot ass invisible woman.
But then things are like Captain America was the Human Torch, right?
Right.
At one point, but it's like
Oh,
you
that's
just
right. That's right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But you just like you said, you just kind of like you're a fan
Go
of
with
it,
the
you
flow.
overlook it, go with the flow, you know?
You go with the flow. I think people who are into wrestling, they kind of have to go through that too. You know, it's like I'm not into wrestling as much as I was as a kid, but it's
Mhm.
like when you have characters like back in the day, like Ultimate Warrior, you know, British Bulldog, it's like the storyline and the look and feel was one way, but you almost have to accept that it evolves. I mean, it's like, you know, I saw it with Pokemon, you know, it's like I sound old when I say this, but back in my day, there was only 150 Pokemon. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And now there's like so many. And then there was like 151. You're like, whoa, there's a secret one. Um,
You're such a nerd.
yeah, I'm telling you, bro.
Your
I
mind
thought
was
this was a
blown.
safe space, bro.
No,
No,
it
no,
is.
yeah, but it's like, it's totally that. So it's like going back to Marvel. I remember there was some like chapter books that I used to read. It was like pick your own adventure kind of
Mhm,
thing,
yeah.
and you could read the same book over and over again, and you know, kind of get different endings or different choices. You are you gonna go through this door or not? You go over here. Are you gonna fight this guy or not? And again, the imagination filled everything in. Then you go to comic books and it was there for you. So it's like it just depends what you gravitated towards. I think superheroes kind of like had something for you.
Mm.
And then did you collect I mean you collected toys, right, from it? But
I collected toys, man.
did you open them from the packages and play with them? Like the hero clicks I see you have right here.
Yeah, for those for the guests and viewers that are watching, we got some hero clicks. I just learned of this about this today. I never seen these kind of figures before. Um, hero clicks, like what was this about? Like, was this like a game or
What's
what?
like Dungeons and Dragons kind of type thing,
Yeah, break
right?
that down for us. Like, what was
Yeah, I
this
guess
about?
it was kind of like that. So it's like think of it like you would open up this kind of like plane mat and it
Mhm.
was a grid and you start on one end and you end on the other. So if you got into close proximity to one another, you can attack somebody and you basically eliminate.
Kind of like Battleship, I guess.
Yeah, kind of
Little
like
bit, just
Battleship, but a little more dynamic.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Okay.
it's like because you could see the characters, kind of thing. You can move around, you can avoid getting attacked. You know, that kind of thing. So it could be like two people, all the way to like a few, like I don't know, four people.
See if you can pull that up, Solomon. Hero clicks.
So is
Hero
it like
clicks.
chess? So if the Hulk ends up beating somebody, then you have to remove that piece off the board?
Yeah, you're pretty much done. You know, by the end of it, it's like you start off with a team of four. By the end of it, you're down to one character, and you could win. You know, and then you know,
Sentinel.
yeah, the Sentinel is like that takes up four squares as opposed to one square.
Wow,
So
okay.
that one just was like a little harder. And I remember I used to get beat all the time. I didn't stand a chance. I just didn't get it. But once I got Big Man right here, it was like, oh man, I stood a chance, and I would win a couple times. So it was really cool. See, there's so much now. It's like I stopped. It's a hero
The
clicks. Yeah.
Sandman. That's like different kind. So did you? Okay, tell us where you played with these games at.
So these I would go to like comic book shops and you
Uh-huh.
go in like on a weekend and there'd be like a bunch of fools there and a fold out table and a big gulp cup in the corner.
And you
And
think it would be just little kids there, but they're grown ass men.
grown men.
Yeah.
Looking back is like, oh, they were probably my age, you know, but
Yeah.
they look all grown.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier, but you walk into that setting and you look around, you're like, man, all these fools are nerds.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm here.
I'm
You
up.
know,
Yeah. I'm
I'm
up
here
next.
too.
I got next.
I got next. I
I got
got
next, and
next.
I'm not going nowhere until I play.
And do you remember the name of the comic shops you would go to? Because you're from Long Beach,
Yeah, I'm from Long Beach. So when I
born
grew
and
up
raised.
going to buying comic books, was Amazing Comics here by here in Long Beach over by
Oh,
the
Bellflower, I think.
yeah, Bellflower by the Target,
Yeah.
And they're still open, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've
it's
been around.
tiny now,
It's
and it
tiny.
used to be like a whole thing. It was like massive. You can go in there and
It was amazing. Now it's not so amazing comics.
Is it
Amazing
because
Comics, and I was like,
is it because
amazing?
did they
Yeah.
sell did they sell a lot of the comics? Is that why they downsized, or is that what happened? Or
I don't know. It just I like to think that comic books weren't really a thing like they used to be. Now it's like the ebooks. So like I have a
Yeah.
like a homie who gets all the comic books on their iPad, and they look beautiful, and you can zoom in and all this stuff. But it's like I don't know. I'm old school that way.
I didn't even know that. So there's ebooks. So there's stuff like on just on the iPad where
Yeah,
instead of
think of it
buying the
like
comic
a
book,
podcast, right? Like
they
a
just
podcast.
they just download it.
Yeah, you buy the thing, and it
Oh
just
wow.
downloads like the book series, so you can have a dozen of these, and um,
I'm like you too. I
Me
I,
too.
I want to
A
have
comic book needs to be
yeah, and I like to like I might
smell
be
it.
weird, but smell it.
Yeah, like smell it. Like to smell
Yeah,
it.
you know, like I'll be in there smelling the whole.
yeah,
but
my
the
favorite
ink,
memory as a kid is going to the library and like that smell.
Mhm.
That
yeah,
smell where you like find a book or what like I don't know, it's like yeah, why yeah, we're definitely old school when it comes to this stuff because it's like physical media, like opening the book or like somebody drew something in it, even though it wasn't cool. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, Amazing Comics,
There
there
it
it
is. Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
making comics. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The wraps on the window right there. Hell
But
yeah.
see, with the online presence, you don't really need to have a big store anymore because people are buying stuff
Yeah.
online and
You see how they
eBay and
added
things
Yeah.
like
dot
that.
.com to the name too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they
Okay.
added
They
.com
they
to it.
put
Yeah.
a
At a
.com
dot
on there.
com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I remember that's what it was all about when you went to these card shops. You go get the cards. You look at the cards and you open up the pack. It had bubble gum in it. I don't think they're not even selling bubble gum anymore. Remember back in the days?
It's all digital
It's
now.
all
you know?
digital.
Digital
You gotta,
bubble
Even the
gum.
you gotta
bubble
download bubble gum.
gum.
You gotta download the damn gum. That's funny. You gotta download the gum.
That was the worst piece of bubble gum
But you
Oh,
still
on the
ate it. You
planet
still
ever.
chewed it though.
Yeah, it had that powdered
Because it was
sugar,
cool. It was that powder
but
stuff.
it would just break in your mouth. Like,
Yeah. You had like 2 minutes of like, I'm just gonna break this down. It's like a palette.
yeah,
And
and
then
then
hopefully it's
formulate it
gum.
together, and then the flavor's gone.
Yeah, there's something like I think, you have to change with the times. Like physical media has now become like, you know, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like playing Monopoly on your phone. Yeah, I mean, it's like you could play,
Right.
that's cool, but it's like there's something about like playing
Gathering
a
of the
game where you're
friends
like,
and the
I don't
family.
have that piece. You're gonna have to play with this
Yeah.
like other piece that's not even part of the game. You know?
Because growing up, like we play Monopoly when I go visit my family once a year, twice a year. But there's always like the missing puppy or the missing hat. But it's always, like we just deal with it. Then your mom would make a
Yeah.
frijole out of it, or
Yeah.
something. And you're like, let's play Monopoly with this.
There'd
or
be a
something.
post-it, like 5 post-it notes that says 500 on it. It's like, yeah, we lost those.
We lost those.
But there's
That's
something
funny.
there's something sweet about that, and
Yeah.
and it's like in a way I feel bad for that younger generation where it's like, you go in and having to dig in the crates of like those comic book boxes. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, do you have? It's like I used to collect the War Journal Punisher comic books.
Okay.
Hey, like, do you have like? I'm looking for number 7. It's like there was a feeling of hey, when you walk in, it was so cool. See, like
Mhm.
the digital cartoons now.
Right.
That's it right there.
Even the comic strips, like I used to be such a big like nerd for like comic strips that would come out in the newspaper. You know how hard it was to get your um, comic strips syndicated in the newspaper? That was like a whole thing. And if you got syndicated, they printed you in newspapers and that kind of thing. Now there's like, stuff like that where you can go on there and kind of see the daily cartoon. You kind of laugh and you move on with your day. But before it's like you clipped it out of the newspaper, you put it on your wall. It was like
That's old school. That's
that
right.
era added to it. And I
Yeah,
think
my
it's
dad.
like
My
gone.
dad used to love on a newspaper. He still reads the newspaper to this day. He's old school. There was a cartoon called The Born Loser,
Okay.
and he would just laugh his ass off, and then
Yeah.
he's oh that's cool, But you're right. I remember people at their jobs back in the days in their cubicles, they would have those cut out of the man.
Yeah, your
kinds of
teacher had him on the wall. Or
things.
Garfield. Yeah, I mean, that was a big one. Snoopy. Like, I drew,
Kathy or whatever.
yeah.
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 But you had to wait till the next day to get the next thing, right?
Now
next
you
bit.
can like
Get the whole series in one shot.
Hey, those are the OG reels.
Yeah.
Those are the OG reels.
Yeah.
You had to wait the next day. You're like, oh, that's part of the bit. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, wait, he's talking to that person now. Is he gonna finish asking him a question the next day?
Yeah,
It was
you
a
left
print-
a cliffhanger.
Sorry,
It
we're
was
old
a
school comics.
storyboard of a reel. Is what it was, because if you get a comic, it was a 4-panel, 3-panel,
Yeah.
or single panel. You know, so it's funny. Dennis the Menace, remember that
Yeah.
Oh
one? too?
yeah, Dennis
Yeah.
the Menace, man.
Scooby Doo.
Richie Rich.
Richie Rich.
Rich.
Yep.
Oh
favorite.
damn! Pull that up. That's awesome.
So a
Old
lot
school.
of those ended up becoming movies, or they made things from them, right? But they originated from the newspapers, right?
They originated. I mean, what's his name? Scholes.
Charles Schultz
Charles Schultz.
Charles Schultz.
for
It's like
Peanuts.
for Peanuts. It's
Yeah.
like that was one of my favorite stories growing up, because I wanted my little cartoon to be syndicated. I'd be writing like little storylines and
Mm.
drawing cartoons, but it's like, that was a cartoon that he
The
created.
comic
Oh,
books.
there it is.
Comic books right there. That's
Richie
cool.
Rich. Yeah.
Richie Rich.
Richie Rich. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy that Richie Rich's all his riches and crazy gadgets now are just like an iPhone? They boiled it down to one iPhone.
Nice.
Oh, that deserves stage-worthy laughter.
Thank you.
Oh, you're the first. Hey, you're the first one to get an applause break.
Oh, thank you.
That's the first right here on the Collectors Podcast. Everybody.
Yeah, what a trip. What a trip. I forgot what I was saying.
But just with Richie Rich, I mean, like, with the technology now they have, right? But it is just an iPhone. But he would have all the gadgets because he was rich, right? So you can have all that kind of stuff.
Are you watching TV in a car? That's crazy.
So Inspector
Yeah.
Gadget didn't have any iPhone like that then either, right? He wasn't.
He was an iPhone though.
He wasn't. That dude was the walking iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget.
Go gadget.
Go gadget.
Yeah, he was a Motorola Razor,
You said Motorola Razor. Wow. So when you grew up as a single kid, single child, right?
only child.
So did you have other friends that you would play these games with too? Did you guys roll up together?
Yeah, my cousin, my cousin used to play him, so I used to play against him. He used to whoop my ass. There was no way, so I was like, I gotta find other people to play with,
And it's not like one of those things you can just ask people because it's kind of nerdy type stuff, right? So you can't be like in the hood and then be like, oh, you're down with HeroClix, eh?
I think what the nerdy thing that opened the door for everybody, and I think it was universal. And again, we were just talking about it, was Pogs. I think
Oh,
Pog
yeah,
was like a
Pogs.
big
Pogs,
opening door.
yes.
That was when you threw them on the ground.
Yeah,
right?
look
Yeah,
up
the-
Pogs too, Solomon.
Yeah.
Damn, we forgot about
Yeah.
Pogs.
Yeah, that was like
What was
what
that?
opened the door.
And I just collected that for a little bit, but to my understanding, they were circular and they had different pictures on them and everything, right?
So at the time, I remember I used to buy my Pogs off of this lunch truck. It's like, I don't know that any other, like, I don't know if they do it in any other state. Maybe it's a LA.
Mhm.
There it is right there. Those
There it
little
is.
circle paper, cardboard.
Yeah.
But there was a lunch truck. The truck was called Sanchez, right? And it had like fruit hanging from the side of it. You could buy tortillas, pan, milk, So when the Sanchez truck used to pull up, we used to go running, and he had Ziploc bags of like Pogs.
Mm.
And I remember only a couple people that I've talked to about this remember this, but they had the O.J. Simpson trial Pogs.
No
what?
shit.
And every person had a Pog. The judge, like
they had
everybody,
a Judge Ito Pog.
everything. Like,
Kato Kalin got one too.
and obviously the main one was OJ.
OJ.
Like, if you got the OJ one, it's like, oh shit.
That
Was he in his
that was the
football uniform or just out?
It was a cartoon, so I don't know who the. Actually, I want to do a mental note to go down that rabbit hole. It's like I would love to see. I would love to find out who animated those, who illustrated them.
It's pretty cool. Good research.
But there was a bunch of Pogs. It was just then the Slammer. So I think it was like that was the first one where you're like, hey, do you want to play? And I think that kind of opened the door with like video games, and then this stuff. Pokemon cards was like huge for me in middle school, and I think that was a little more. There it is.
OJ
it's the
Slammer.
Slammer.
And it's cool because it has him with the prison bars around him.
But there was one.
Cool.
How do you play Pogs? Do you
You
throw
would
it
hit
down?
him, right? And then if the thing would flip, and then you'd win.
So Pogs would have an image on one side, right? So let's say we were all playing,
Yeah.
and we would put like one of yours face down, one of mine face down, one of yours, and we repeat. Like let's say we go like, since it's three of us, we do like we're up to 9, right? And you do a stack and you figure out who's gonna go first, and you have these plastic slammers, almost like a solid plastic bottle cap,
Okay.
right? Like a little bigger, like size of a 50-cent piece. And that stack with all of them facing down, you go, you hit them,
Mhm.
and it'll like throw them all over. So whichever ones had the image up, they were mine. So now they were
Oh,
all scattered, and the ones that had like the white backing up, you can like, you have to throw them down to flip them over,
with
or
the
the
slammer.
yeah, with the slammer. And there was a move that you got to do one, and it was called chili wings, where you can go like use the edge of the plastic slammer and like basically flip it over
Okay.
without slamming it, and it was pretty much like a yeah, like a field goal kick after you scored the point.
Okay,
It's like
okay.
you're likely gonna make it.
You can only use it once.
I remember it was only once or something like that, because it's like if you did that, it was like
And there was no time clock or anything like that when you're playing them. It was just
no, there was
that's
just a
it.
lot of crying because you're like
You lost your paw.
yeah, because imagine like on
A
the
lot of
first one.
crying.
Yeah, at least for me. I mean, that's how I played it.
At least for you, there's a lot of crying for you. There's
Yeah.
a lot of defeats.
I was
It's funny.
dehydrated playing Pogs, bro.
You got to go back to Sanchez. What was the name of the place? The
Sanchez truck. It was
Yeah, you gotta
it
go
was
get
a
more
white.
Pogs.
So it was like, was it like a taco truck with just items?
So think of it like a
Lunch truck?
like a UPS truck.
Okay.
That
Oh,
was
that
open
big.
in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, that
That's
big.
pretty big.
Like a
Eh,
mobile store.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
a mobile store, yeah.
Oh.
Do you remember? Like, I don't know if you grew up here in Long Beach, but they used to be out here all the time, especially the Sanchez truck. You used to see this fool just driving.
Yeah, not in Long Beach, but you would see them going around, and they would sell anything from like toys to fruits and everything. Just like a mobile store, like a
Yeah, it was like a
7-Eleven
mobile store. It was a
Latino-
liquor
7-Eleven on
store.
wheels, you know.
Latino owned.
Phone
Sanchez.
chargers, all of that.
Anything.
Yeah.
With
Well, it's like the
tortillas.
liquor stores in the hood. You go there, you can get a hairnet, you can get tube socks. They
Exact-
cater,
yeah.
to, Tres Flores. Like they cater to the neighborhood, whatever neighborhood.
That's how I
Yeah,
lost my hair thanks to Tres Flores. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Oh man.
But again, it's like, yeah, Pokemon cards were like, I think the big one where I remember. So I was so much into like these Pokemon cards. Like I started collecting them and stuff. It's like I was working with my dad, saving up my money to go buy them. I even got into Pokemon card tournaments. There was a tournament I remember at the Long Beach Queen Mary,
Uh-huh.
and you would go down there and you would build out your deck, and you go play, and then every time you won, they would give you a brand new like a pack, like a booster pack, and it was great. And then the Game Boy, I had the Game Boy, so it was either 3 versions. It was like at the time it was just blue cartridge, red cartridge, or the uh, what was it, the yellow one? Yeah, like a yellow cartridge. And they would plug you in, and it'll be like you would battle people, like your Pokemon would battle other people, and it would be on screen. And I was better at that. The Game Boy version when I would battle, and it would be like a big screen. This is like the infancy of like um what do they call it? Esports,
Okay.
And all Game Boy graphics, 16-bit. And yeah, it was like a big deal,
Now
and
tell us what you're holding right there. So that is
so these are the cards. These are all the holographic cards that would come in the pack. So you like sometimes you would get them, sometimes you wouldn't. But it's like,
So you don't battle with those, right?
yeah, well, they're supposed to be in the deck, but it's like as soon as you got something like this that was shiny, it's like you
piece.
take it out. Yeah.
And what's the name of those cards? What are they called?
So these are just
Action figures?
holographic.
Holographic.
Yeah, holographic because they
Fancy one?
they
Yeah.
shine.
Let me take a look at that too.
And then yeah, so on the bottom
You want to
right.
zoom in on this a little bit, Solomon, if you can? I
Oh
guess?
yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah, let me get my zoom camera out.
Yeah. We want to take a look at some of these cards. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Look what he's holding up.
Yeah.
So this one's called Zapdos.
Zapdos.
Okay, so it says Thunderstorm for each of your opponents.
So
bench
kinda
Pokemon.
cool.
They flip a coin. Okay, yeah.
So then I even started getting into like the foreign ones
Ooh,
right
look at that one.
here.
Look at that one, Ed.
So this one's like the foreign ones. It's like these were like kind of
Oh,
rare.
I can translate it.
Yeah.
Can you?
Nah,
was
bruh.
damn, you got
Tagalog.
skills.
It's not Tagalog,
It's not Tagalog.
Too many lines, bro.
Too many lines.
Also, there's 2 cards, right, on each one?
no,
like a front
I
or
put
is it-
2 because I couldn't. Yeah,
You couldn't afford another holder?
hey, I was a little kid and my dad was like, I'm not buying for this.
2 for 1. Okay.
So in the bottom right hand corner, you can see a number, so it could tell you how rare the card is. So
Oh yeah, it says right here 15 out of 62 right here.
Yep.
On this one.
yeah. And
Okay.
this one is 14 out of 102, the Raichu. This is 16 out of 62.
Do you have like a number 1 out of any?
No. The Charizard I remember was like the big one. Like,
Mhm.
Charizard, yeah.
yeah, wait a minute. I have a 17 out of 107,
That's cool. Yeah, this one you have
11 out of 64.
this one's 15 out of 62, which isn't bad. That's cool.
And then I remember that Pokemon had, so at the time it was 150 Pokemon, and then there was like it ended up being 152 because then there was like Mewtwo that was 151, and then there was like a movie, a whole storyline that they came around it of like a smaller version of Mewtwo just called Mew,
Mhm.
and they made a whole movie, and it was like kind of this alien kind of creature.
Mhm.
And when you
I remember
went to
that.
go see the movie, they gave you like a card.
Oh,
I
it's
had
a
a homie.
limited edition card?
Yeah, I had a homie who would like work there, and I was able to get a card, and it was
Oh,
like
look at
sealed.
that.
So it's still sealed in the packet, but I got a few of them, and I'm like, I have to see what it looks like.
Uh-huh.
So I open it, there it is.
Oh
Let's see.
wow.
Yeah, so this is a
Yeah, I
sealed
remember
one.
the character.
See if you can
was
zoom
looking-
in on that, Solomon, of the card that he's holding. No
So is
zoom.
Mewtwo
Alright.
better than Mew?
I don't know that it was better, so it's like I don't know that it was better rather than it would just kind of like, this series kind
Oh, this
of
is cool.
showed the evolution of a Pokemon. Like
This is really cool.
yeah, it's like Bulbasaur all the way to like so yeah, it's like it kind of showed like three stages of a Pokemon. This was like two stages to Mewtwo, and this was like the first stage. So
Who is the most popular? Because I really don't know too much about Pokemon. Who is the most popular character in that?
probably Pikachu because it
Pikachu
was
by
like
far.
Pikachu's the
Yeah.
headline.
right. Was he the
He's the main guy.
He's
in
the main
everything.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, here we go. Mew to Mewtwo. Mewtwo is faster and way more powerful than Mew.
Stats wise, yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
You remember like being on the early internet as a kid and just be like Googling Pokemon characters. I mean, you're there with your food. You're not even sitting at the dinner table with your parents. You're just like, I have to do this research that no one's asking for.
And you started liking that. And you started liking that because of the cartoon. Is that what got you hooked on the cards? Or
Well, yeah, the cartoon was a big one because they would play them
Mhm.
in the morning, and I remember I watched them, as you're getting ready in the morning. So
For
it was
school.
like, and then with time, it became like a bigger thing, and yeah, the cards led to the video game, and the video game was like,
Did you have the video game too as well? You said it on the Game
yeah,
Boy.
in the Game Boy, it was like, yeah, it's like I had the blue cartridge, and you just play it, and I remember it was a big deal when you played the Pokemon game where you were able to clone. So there was a thing that
Mm.
you would do, and it was like a link cable that you would connect. So let's say you had a Pokemon that I
Mhm.
wanted, and I had one that you wanted. So we would trade, but halfway through the trade, I knew how to duplicate it because you could pull the link cord while it was doing a transmission, and it would
Oh.
double up.
Yeah,
So that you
yeah.
wouldn't have to give your card
Oh
up.
man, I was so in it. I was like, oh, it's like you have to do it 12 seconds in because it would buffer and the information wouldn't go all the way. So there was
Oh,
a
there you are.
copy.
There's a picture of you right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was about to say I have a picture of me at one of those
Tournament.
Okay, so when
tournaments. It's on my Instagram
Really?
page.
So
yeah.
okay, what are
This
they
is during
right here?
pandemic, they're wearing
Do
masks.
they just trade cards? Or what are they doing right here?
They're
This is-
battling.
They're
over
battling.
battling right there.
Yeah.
So you see the red,
Yeah.
kind of squares.
We see that.
Those are the sleeves where the guy has his card in there. So like, let's say like you had one of these cards, right? You're like, I don't have it on this hard case, but I have to use it because it's part of like the deck you're building out.
Uh-huh.
You put it in one of those card protectors so you can like shuffle them and not scratch them.
And these tournaments, do they give out prizes and stuff to whoever wins?
Yeah. So if you won if you like, let's say these two guys, whoever won got a booster pack, and you move on to the next. Eventually, it's like some kind of grand big prize. And I remember my mom one time told me like because she took me, and I lost like 4 in a row. She goes, "You dumbass! Like, why you keep losing?" And I'm like, "These guys are good. Like, they have good cards." I'm like semi crying, like, they have good cards, And then my mom goes, "He's like, don't you see what they're doing? They're not shuffling the cards. They're setting." Because I kept telling my mom, "It's like I can't get my cards in time. I keep drawing like energy cards, and it
Mhm.
takes me forever to get the cards that I need." He's like, "Don't you see what they're doing? They're putting the cards there so when they like draw cards, they're like their hand is already set up." And I go, "Wait, they're cheating?" And I was so heartbroken, and my mom was like, "Oh my god, you can't see this."
How old were you when this was happening?
Like 27? No.
You're like
Getting
last
beat
year.
by like a
You're like
14-year-old.
last year.
No, so this is like middle school,
Junior high.
Yeah, let's see. I was like, I don't know, like 13. Yeah.
13.
When I was in
Okay.
high school. No, yeah. No, it was yeah, middle school time and oh, I remember they had one at the Westminster Mall. And
Okay.
it was a whole mall was taken over by this and you walk around, you see
I seen
kids,
that, right? I seen that. The whole mall,
the
right?
middle
Yeah, just
part,
tables and tables. Yeah,
tables,
yeah.
and used to go up to people, "Hey, you want
This
to
would happen
trade?"
on Saturdays on the weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Sunday.
I knew it wasn't Saturdays because I had to work with my dad, so that was like the incentive for me to go work with him. My dad's like, "I'll drive you to Westminster if you
Okay.
go help
That was
me
like the
on Saturday." I'm
treat.
yeah, for sure. It's like 14-hour work shift, you know. It's like, oh, that's a good deal.
That's a good deal. 1 hour. Hey, like your prison, like 1 hour of yard time, bro.
Hey,
1 hour of
where you're
Pokemon
gonna
time.
take me there? All right, let's go. What is it about stuff like that as a kid that just
That
yeah, I don't
drives you.
know that speaks to you. I don't know. It's like
It's just like you said, like that passion. It's the same thing with me. Like I was when I was collecting my, I haven't stopped collecting, but when I had my started my toy collection, I would go to the local library, and once a week, kids would be able to display their stuff. My stuff was displayed there,
oh,
so I would
nice.
do that. I would display my toys, and it was just a passion for it because I enjoyed reading too, man.
Yeah.
Books were my thing. I was in a book club.
Yes.
It was all about that. I remember in elementary school, you'd have to fill out what books you wanted. You check them off, you
Mhm.
send them off, pay $3 or $4, and you wait for your book to come in.
Wait forever.
You wait, yeah, yeah, wait forever.
Yeah.
It all depends, but
The Scholastic joint.
yeah, Scholastic joints, all that stuff. Ranger Ricks. I was reading all the time, and then
Yeah.
library. That was my go-to. We used to love
Yeah.
going to the library, man.
I hated reading.
Really?
I would get those subscribe to
Oh,
highlights, but
my
I would just look
favorite
for the
magazine.
pictures, and you have to hide and find them.
Yeah, where it was like hidden. It's like, can you find the paintbrush in this thing? And
Yeah.
you sitting there for weeks going, where is the paintbrush?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But my mom would get mad. You don't read any of the articles. You just go straight to the things. So I was like, oh.
Take shortcuts.
What was it about what was it about like the reading that you didn't like?
I think it was probably comprehension. I
Okay.
wasn't.
I feel that.
And then the more you don't read, then you start falling behind on other people.
You like
and
that
so
commercial
it's
mode. The more you know.
like,
Like you didn't know.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. It's like I was so I didn't really have like I would say full command of the English language until like around the 5th grade.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's like, I fell behind big time in school 'cause I just didn't know what was going on. And I think what helped me was like I started liking to read because I knew that there was a Spider-Man book out there and that kind of thing, which my parents were just like, "You're not learning
Look at the
anything."
highlights.
It's like, yo, highlights. Yeah, man. This was
Everybody remembers highlights.
Yeah.
this was like I don't know, like the Forbes magazine for kids right here. This is like the Wall Street Journal.
The
Yes,
Forbes
yes.
magazine.
Let's talk about highlights for a second, man. This was big because
Yeah.
I remember I won a 1-year subscription and that was big because it's like I couldn't wait to go to the mailbox. But I used to go to the library to go read them regularly. They had recipes. You can make like little fun activities. They had the puzzle thing, articles. Yeah, it's like interviews with animals. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Interviews with the giraffe up in there. That's tight. That's
Yeah.
tight.
Oh, the mazes, the activities were dope. Anyway,
Yeah.
see, like even in the corner, you can see it's like want more, get highlights every day, and it has like you can download on your phone.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cold blooded.
You
Right?
go-
Cold
put the
blooded,
times.
man.
Man.
And I feel and that's what I'm saying. That I wonder if people still go to libraries. Like all that stuff is just vintage now. You know what I mean? Libraries just because it would be packed when I go, man. Kids would go on the
You
weekend.
guys remember microfiches?
Microfiches.
Yeah.
Why does that sound?
Yeah,
familiar?
yeah. It was a microfilm, right?
Yeah,
You would go
yes,
through those.
Yeah.
yes.
And you would do like this thing, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like a thing that projected up
Uh-huh.
here. It was black and
Yeah.
white. It was a way of archiving papers, like
Right, right.
newspapers.
Yeah, mainly newspapers,
Like a microfilm.
periodicals, magazines.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the library. There was so many great technology in there and stuff at the time. It was cool for the time, but I mean, the library was. I mean, I would use my computer time at the time to look up X-Men stuff or Pokemon stuff. It was just like I associated it's like I come to learn this, you know, with my first book that came out. I remember that there was a teacher, there was a librarian who I was able to talk to, and I did a panel with, and she said, he's like learning, to our point, like falling behind, not being able to read, not liking it to read. It's like she explained that every kid has the, what is it called? The third space. And it's the most it's the space in which you learn the most. So you have school and you have home, but the
Mhm,
third space is the thing that kind of drives you. And
Mm.
it's like the reason I love reading and love books is because,
mhm.
I was going to the main library and looking up books about X-Men, which sure wasn't going to benefit me, quote unquote, but it was at least allowing me to see the words more often, be familiar with sentences and with a like not being afraid to read a chapter book,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So that third space, I think libraries kind of gave to our generation, and
Yeah.
it sucks that, it's like it's not there anymore because it also kind of went with either your parents took you or you have to go do a school report or
Mm.
you're like, I'm going on my own and I'm going to check out books about um X-Men,
I
you
would
know?
go to the library too because there some of the magazines my mom just didn't let me get a subscription, so I would just go read Starlog or Star Wars Insider, and,
Mhm.
and they would have week
What was that?
there's magazines that just talk go in depth with Star Wars
Mm.
and
Starlog, yeah.
Starlog was the one they would
Fangoria, they had
Fangoria
those. Yeah.
they would talk about movies, upcoming events, and it was just interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I was like you said, it's that
The third space where
third
you do
space.
That's
most of the
We
yeah.
just
learning.
let our third space take over our life
Well,
right now.
I never heard of that third space, but that's probably because I never got there. But it's exercising that part of your brain, right? Because it's something that you enjoy and you look into it. Like my mom and we were always working because we had a store, so I never got to spend a lot of library time. But she bought Britannica encyclopedias.
Mm.
Ooh.
So once we had that set, she's like, "You don't need to go to the library no more. All your
You got it
information
right
is right
I
here.
got
here."
it right
Yeah.
here.
But then that's when I just learned to plagiarize. When you had to write
Yeah.
reports and stuff like that, you just kind of like try to change a few words here and there
That's
and make
it.
it sound like your own. But
Trying to catch the teacher, trying to catch the teacher slipping. It's like, oh, this is not correct. Well, I don't know. Encyclopedia
So
that was
Britannica
the
said that.
so
yeah
tell us. So
yeah.
since we're talking about books and all that stuff, get
Yeah.
get us check out your book here and tell us what this book is all about, because we're very intrigued.
This is it. So this is my brand new book. It's called Mama's Magnificent Dancing Plantita. This is my second book,
Uh huh.
and it's in English and Spanish. So
Nice.
this is my first dummy copy here of the book, and it comes out next month. So we're really excited, man. This is like so. I wrote two books, and the first one was like dedicated to my dad.
Hmm.
It's like in my upbringing. So like my dad was a gardener, and it was based on an inside joke that we had.
Hmm.
My dad had this big orange water jug, and he used to tell me that he could tell time based on how much water was in the jug. And as a kid, I used to think my dad had like superpowers. It's like,
Yeah.
man, like how is that even a thing? And he goes, you know how I know it's time to go home when the water's gone. I'm like, wow. So as a kid, whenever I would want to go home early, I
You-
started wasting water.
okay.
And that's the basis of the book, and it has a very sweet message, that time and water are precious. They shouldn't be wasted.
Yeah.
And then this one's dedicated to my mom. So this is a new book.
Hmm.
We had a lot of great success with the first book, which I didn't anticipate. I never imagined it. We got
What was the name of the first book?
Papa's Magical Water Jug Clock.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
And illustrated by Eliza Kinks as well. She did both books, and my wife did the translation for both of them. So you see it here with the
That's really cool, man.
Spanish with the Spanish copy. A traducción.
So did your mom have a plant that danced?
So this book it's basically based on a plant that my mom had right before I was born, and we still have it in our family to this day.
Oh wow.
And it's like this idea that it's like my mom loved plants, and she like we had a lot of them. Like our landlord hated us, because she had them everywhere,
So it
and
was like Little Shop of Horrors at your place.
man, it was a forest, bro.
Right.
Uh,
It was the first Amazon.
yeah, the first
First
literally Amazon. Yeah.
Amazon didn't want to deliver at your pad. You're like, we're good.
We had a bunch of plants, and it's like it was this idea that like being an only child, my mom she goes, hey, I'm looking for like a big brother to all my plants.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Hey, sign me up, I'll help you out."
Right.
And it was me taking care of the plants, but, it's like as I got older, I realized that, it wasn't my mom and I raising her plants. It was my mom, raising me through her plants, you
Right.
know? So it was like a nice little message and, this idea of like sometimes you gotta break stuff to grow,
Right.
there's like a part where, I try to cheer up a sad plant. We do everything that cheers me up. We draw, I gave it a haircut, I gave it all kinds of stuff that I knew that made me happy at the time. And then we do a dance party. We break the plant, and then it's kind of like, oh shit, it's like, am I a murderer kind of thing? It's like, did I just break this thing? But realizing that sometimes you have to break something because now you get to repot it, and sometimes plants need more space to grow. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
How many pages is the book?
32.
32. Okay.
32. This is intended for a 3 to 7 kind of audience, and this is the second book in the installment here with yeah. This was such a great experience. Like the first book, last like 2 months ago, we went to San Diego for the American Librarian Association,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's where they give out like Caldecots, Newberries, and this kind of thing. And we were awarded the Pura Belpre, which is named after the first Latina librarian in the New York public library system
Okay.
Wow.
that introduced Spanish literature, Latino literature into American public library system. So we got the Puro Belpre Award. Thank you, Puro Belpre honors, which is really cool for author and illustrator, which doesn't usually happen. So that was really special, and I couldn't believe that we got that for the book. And now we're going into this one, and I just hope people like the book. It'd be nice to get it again, but it's like ultimately, it's like it's dedicated to my late mother.
Yeah.
It's like she was able to see most of it before it was out there,
That's
and
great, man. That's awesome.
so at least she got to hear and see a little bit of it before
Mhm.
she.
Is that her up in the corner on the picture?
Yeah, that's my mom right here.
Uh,
Yeah, that's my mom right there in the upper right hand
Oh, that's really
corner.
it's
cool,
funny. The
man.
plant below her has too much water. It's all squint.
Yeah, too much water. Yeah, that's the part that the landlord hated. It's like the ground was always wet.
He's trying to go home early,
Yeah.
overwatering the plants.
Watering the plants.
But it's like plants need love, right? And they say you talk to your plants and it helps them grow. If the plants that get neglected, they don't come out strong. So
Yeah.
the whole life lesson there is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's
Oh, look
really
at that.
cool. Like Eliza's so talented. Oh, and right here in the bottom right hand corner,
Mhm.
you can see the book and the medal on the front.
Mhm.
Oh,
So that was the
nice.
first book. We got to incorporate it, but it's you're right. It's like plants. I used to hear my mom like sing to him or talk to him, and I was like, my mom's silly.
Yeah.
Like do it in the house, don't do it out there. 'Cause, we're gonna
Yeah.
laugh at his mom.
My friends will gonna see that. It's embarrassing. Where's my Pokemon cards?
Right. That's why I got into Pokemon cards, mom.
Oh,
Uh,
that's really cool.
but yeah, it's I realized, and it's so funny that like there's science to it even before I knew that there was science to it.
Mhm.
Have you guys ever seen the experiment with water or with the rice where they put water in it and it's like they have different jars and they do like one of them they say really nice things, the other one they say other, and then there's one that they really say like explicit things like hateful stuff, and they let so the rice when the rice ends up rotting, the one that you say negative things to, right? And then with water, same experiment, right? This is a little more formal experiment, but they froze eat like a droplet of water from each of these like jars, and the ones that you said nice things to have a very symmetric, beautiful kind of yeah, just a beautiful design. But the one with that you said negative things to, they froze it, and it's a very like there's a lot of dissonance and kind of weird, disformed kind of
That's
design.
sad.
Mm.
Like have you seen that?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I heard
Wow.
about
I
that
forget the
thing.
name of it, but it's like
I think that's like Sith lords
yeah, Sith.
and Jedi's.
So I don't know. It's like back then I didn't realize what my mom was doing, but she knew what she was doing.
It's
You know.
Yeah.
nurturing, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
And
positive
then plants
vibes.
give out oxygen, right? They
Yes.
take in the bad stuff and they give us
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their poop, oxygen, the thing that we need to live.
Yeah, they
So,
spit it out. Like, yeah.
yeah.
That's really cool, man.
Don't quote me on it. It's like oxygen is poop. It's like, go to your local
Shit,
library.
el- shit we breathe.
El potes dorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the plan. Like the plan that this book is based on. I remember growing up, this thing used to wrap around the whole room
Oh
and
wow.
then into another one. It was massive, and we ended up like propagating it into two pots. We still have it to this day. Like it's on my dad's place. It's crazy that it's still around, and you know, we got an event. Yeah, an event where we're gonna give out propagated leaves from this thing to the first 25
Oh, that's cool,
people that buy
man.
the book and support plantita. I mean, casita, a local bookstore. So
Seems like that still makes you emotional a little bit, huh?
yeah, you can see it. Here's what's crazy: the illustrator is so good, man.
Yeah.
She is like she can invoke so much like feelings. So it's like if you take this off,
Mhm.
right, you see
Cool.
the inside of the book,
That's cool.
and
Green.
it's my mother and I reading the first book.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
So
Damn.
it was like it was like, and here's a whole plant. It goes through the whole thing, just like my mom had it.
so you're gonna water those plants with tears.
Yeah, with
He's gonna make
tears.
us choke up
Oh man.
on our own show.
Let's talk about nerdy stuff again. Hey, remember Pokemon?
That's really awesome. Now, you also brought a cool X-Men figure. Tell us about that. And I remember talking on the phone with you. You had a good little story about this
Yeah.
action figure too.
So, do you guys remember these toys at all? Or yeah?
We do
Yeah.
we do a little bit. Yes, I do remember those. They came out in the early '90s.
Yeah, it's
It
like
looks
10
brand
inch.
new.
I
It's
mean, that's
crazy.
in very damn good condition.
Very good
Considering
condition.
it came out in '94 actually. Gambit, obviously a deluxe edition. Look, yeah, tell us the story behind this.
Yeah, so this is not my original one. This was given to me at the Cabin Comedy Club. The GM is a fellow nerd, a comic book nerd, and we started talking about X-Men, and then for some reason I started talking about this Gambit doll. So they used to have like I remember I had the Wolverine and the Mystique,
Mhm.
and I remember at the time it was like $19.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, these are gonna be worth something." And the Mystique one was already going up in value. We saw it. What's the name of the book where you see the values?
Action Figure Digest was one of them, and
Beckett?
Lee's action actually was called Lee's Action Figure Digest.
Yeah,
Or might have been Beckett too. Beckett had some stuff.
yeah,
So
and it
Beckett
was
had
already
baseball and football
climbing.
cards. Yeah.
And I remember that we went to the bookstore in the mall.
Oh, look.
It was the Delamo Mall. Yeah.
Look at that price right now.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm glad I put a seatbelt on this thing on the way here.
It had its own booster
Dude, the
seat.
seatbelt might damage the box.
Yeah. No.
Oh no, I put a
hold it.
pillow and everything
Yeah.
over it. Yeah.
This is that's a very.
Dang.
Your box looks really good, man.
From $19 to 119, so it's like $100.
That's
It
what's
was
up, man.
1999, and well, the one I remember buying was at KB Toy Store.
KB, shout out to KB.
Yeah.
I
KB.
remember that.
Yeah.
KB, a lot of good Star Wars exclusives from there.
So we went
KB.
to the bookstore. Do you remember the book? Delamo Mall had an arcade back in the day, a
All right.
massive
Okay.
arcade,
Uh-huh.
and there was a bookstore right next to it. There was a bookstore, McDonald's arcade. I mean, every nerd's dream. You know what I mean? And so I remember going and looking at the book and going back to the KB Toy Store. I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like, we should buy it now because it was worth, I don't know, probably like $30 or like a little bit over the price. And to us, I was like, oh man, this is a big deal. So I bought a couple of them. This one being one of them,
Mhm.
and I opened it and I'd play with it a bunch. I took the jacket off and I couldn't put it back on. I'm like, oh well, there's that.
There's
Yeah.
that. With the tape on there.
Yeah,
That tape.
yeah. Well, I mean, I took it out. I was playing with it, but
Mhm.
the jacket I couldn't put it back on the action figure. Like the box was long gone, and then the stick I lost or something.
It's all good, man. But it looks we love the fact that you kept it and you preserved it. Do you
Well-
have? Is that the only one you have of that kind, or do you have?
No, so this one was given to me recently
Yeah.
by that comedy club owner. So the reason that why this one was so special, he gave it to me is because I had it, and this homie, like a homie of mine, was like, "Hey, I'll give you $1 and 2 action figures, like kind of the smaller ones, for the Gambit." I'm like, perfect deal, $1 and 2 toys. And then after a while, it didn't feel like a good deal.
Right.
And I, found him again. I'm like, "Hey, I'll give you your $1 back and your 2 toys."
You
Can I get my Gambit back? He goes, "Nah, bro, I'm having a lot of fun with it." I'm like, "Well, it's not a fair trade." He goes,
Right.
"Well, we traded already." And that
right.
was my first big business lesson
Mhm.
that I learned. I'm like, "Oh, this is real."
Shit's
Right,
real.
Right.
And I never got it back. And I used to see this would just have the time of his life with the Gambit. I was like,
Oh,
You're
Here
just
goes
walking
my
around,
toy.
just
you'd be
cool.
riding your bike and seeing him play.
Just
it.
having like this, just riding around the bike with the Gambit like this.
I'd be out hiding in the bushes 100 yards away looking at this fool have fun, just scrutinizing every
A
time.
sniper? You were like a sniper with no gun. You're
Yeah.
just looking.
Oh man, just scrutinizing his fun time with my toy,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I told him the story, and he shows up with it by the end of the weekend. He goes, "Look at this! I could not believe it. I flew back with it. I stayed awake the whole flight just with it perfectly standing like this on my lap." I remember there was a lady in the plane. She goes, "Oh, that's so nice. Is that for your son?" I'm like, "Yes,
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
yes, it is. Mind your own business, lady." But yeah, crazy,
That's really cool, man.
crazy.
So you were into that that series then.
I was into this series because I wanted to get the Punisher one, and I never was able to see it. I had a Mystique one that a friend of mine. So my dad was like, "Why do you have a doll?"
Yeah, they're action figures, Dad.
Yeah, no, it's a toy. It's like it's a doll. It's like, why you buy a doll for?
It's a doll.
That's
It's
that machismo.
yeah,
It's a
machismo
doll,
thing.
cabron.
And then
Go to work.
I had a friend of mine that came over and basically opened it and started playing with it. And I remember my heart dropped. I'm like, oh no. And my dad was like, it's okay. They could play with it. I'm like, no, it's not okay. And we had this big argument. I remember it's like, I lost that argument.
You
Of
cried
course.
a lot, huh, when you were little?
I cry a lot now. Yeah. Some things never change.
Some things never.
We'll be back right after this.
This is brought to you by Kleenex.
Yeah, but
That's
this was
cool, man.
this was a big deal, and I could not believe it when he gave it to me. It was in the green room. He goes, "Hey, thanks for working the weekend." And
But did you get paid?
yeah, I got paid.
Okay, I just want to
yeah.
make sure that you got paid
Yeah.
for your show.
No, I
Just
got
get a
paid.
damn action figure.
Now that I think of it, it was $100 short.
There you go. There you go, bro. $119 short.
$119.99. But yes,
Oh, there's look. Solomon just posted.
yes, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah,
$20 or best offer unopened.
Oh, that's Mystique. Yeah.
that's original price.
Yeah. Okay.
So I open a lot of my toys
Yeah.
because I like to display them.
He likes to let him breathe, not
But here's the trick: if you can't get the jacket back on, you use a blow dryer.
Ooh,
So like the heat kind of like
wrap it.
it loosens up the fabric and also loosens up the figures. Like if you have a hard time like interchanging the hands or certain parts of that, the blow dryer is like that heat just opens it up. So,
Mind
like,
blown.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys have any toy now that you're like I insanely regret opening?
Um, I have some toys that I've sold, but I've had it once in my hands. But anything I open, I really I like it because I like to display them and show them up. But I don't open the smaller toys like the vintage ones that he has. Like I would probably because you can't really pose those and move them around. But when you have the bigger pieces, they're more for display, so I don't mind opening them. But I did buy this. It was a Black Panther, his sister. It was a toy I got from Disney, and my daughter opened it up, and I was like, oh. And then I looked up it online now, and it's going for like $250. It's a Disney
Oh.
exclusive. And she lost one of the shoes, and I was like, I never thought of hitting my kid until that day. But yeah, so you just never know what's gonna like blow up and be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, like for me, I like my vintage stuff is open and it's in good condition and it's on display right now. But all the new stuff that we're getting, I'm getting around, they're in the packages, and they're displayed too as well. I just showed him a video of what I'm working with right now. But yeah, we like to have them I like to have them in the package. But he likes to, have them move around and stuff, which is cool. But everybody has their own thing, what they're into.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it, man.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how we roll, and we're actually excited because we're going to LA Comic Con
Comic-Con,
October 4th through the 6th. We will be out there. So to the watchers and listeners, if you're out there, give us a shout out. You'll see us walk around, just having a good time.
We're gonna be man on the street.
Yeah,
We're gonna ask questions.
And some of the guests that are confirmed that are going to be there will be Billy D. Williams, Hayden Christensen, and
Ian McGregor and
Ian McGregor.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Mm.
So we're excited. Hope
You
we
had
get a
me at
picture.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's-
gonna be the only one in line with a
that's-
boner.
I seriously doubt that. But so we're excited about that. So you guys know what to do.
As far
Jesus,
as your
yeah.
book though concerned, that's your second one. Are you planning on doing more? I mean,
Yeah.
like their third one is because you got your first one with your father,
Mhm.
second one's your mom. You should get your book for you and then maybe do some weed plants.
Weed plants. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down. I try to pitch this kid's book. It's like teaches kids about business, like my first nickel sack,
Yeah.
and how I made $5.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
No, I'm
Okay.
Great.
Nickel to a
yeah,
dime.
yeah.
Nickel to a dime.
Nobody
I've-
would go for that.
I've grown some marijuana plants like in my backyard just for like because I would smoke weed, throw some seeds out. Next thing you know, a plant started growing.
Wow.
But then I ended up cultivating them and developing a green thumb. Because it's you talk to them, they're almost like your kids.
Hmm.
And just watching them grow and cultivate. So I mean, plants are wonderful.
Yeah.
But will you keep the whole theme with plants all the time?
Well, the first one, I mean, the first one was like, mowing lawns with my dad,
Mhm,
being a
mhm.
gardener. This was plants, but I just want to keep building out the world, kind of keep building out this whole,
It's a
you know,
positive message.
yeah, positive message. There's, it's something I've wanted to do ever since I was a kid, to go
Yeah.
to the library and read books. And it's like and, I love writing. I love, the art and all that stuff. But I want to do more kids' books, but definitely like I want to write some like novels and that kind of thing. So
Nice.
I'll be out pitching that. Hopefully this will allow me, would afford me the confidence in a publisher, allow me to kind of build my
Yeah.
writing career that way. But
Yeah.
it's cool, it's fun, it's tedious,
Something
it's
that you
nerve wracking, but it's fun, man.
It's like us
Yeah.
with the toys. It's like, yes, we take our sweet time. But we enjoy it. It's what we do.
Well, that's building the foundation, and you're learning all the business aspect of it.
Yeah,
So when you get ready to write other stuff, like you already know all that stuff, and it's like
yeah,
secondhand.
yeah. It's so cool. There's a book out there called the the children's book. It's like a market book, like a
Mhm.
marketplace book. But they have it for different genres, and they teach you all the inside stuff. And for years, I was like buying them, trying to get the thing.
Yeah.
And it's like I remember like in 2020 when it finally happened, when I was like, out actively pitching, my lit agent was out there, pitching my story, and it was really cool. So between the two books, we got like a six offer bidding war, and
Nice.
be able to kind of, say what we wanted, and go make another round and say, hey, thank you for the offer, but
Mhm.
we're gonna go a different direction, and then finally arrive to where we are now with this publisher. And it was just cool. It was an experience that I didn't think I was I didn't expect. You hear about it, and then to actually be in the middle of it was very exciting. I think my managers were very excited, to go through this thing, and
Mhm.
and be in a position where people want to hear, because for years you get rejection letters and all that
Right.
stuff. So
Yeah.
finally people are like, tell me more. It's like, really? I never got this far,
Like a Jehovah Witness, come inside.
You're like,
Come inside?
Yeah, I'm inside. What do I do now?
Really? Wow.
Hey,
So
before we
that's-
go, I had something I wanted to put on the screen here.
Uh-huh.
See what you guys thought of this.
Sure.
Oh,
Oh,
what is that?
The
5?
most expensive Pokemon card ever.
Wow.
Wow,
So look at that
5.2.
PSA,
Yeah.
5.2 mil
Bought by Logan
Illustrator
Paul.
Pikachu.
private.
So I do remember that one of the I forget which one,
Wow.
which one it was, but they came out with the card basically on one of these things on a chain. It was a boxing match. I don't know if it was him or his brother that came out for this match, and it was like this Charizard that was worth like over $1 million, but this is far exceeds that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
That's actually this one. See, that's what
Oh, you have it? Never mind. Give it to us. Show's over. Give it to us. We start jumping him right now. You ain't our friend.
What if the episode ends with you guys jumping me? Oh, like old time's sakes. We'll see you next time.
That being said, can you please let our listeners and our fans know where they can find you on social media and where you're going to be at performing this weekend?
So they can jump you and
Yeah, so you can jump me. I'm not gonna have any of this stuff with me, by the way. JesusTrejo.com, Instagram at Jesus Trejo on the number 1. You can see it here on the
Uh-huh.
screen, but also go on Amazon, check out the books, and I'll be at Rooster Teeth Feathers this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we got 4 shows. Come on by. Let's have some laughs, and don't beat me up because I don't have any of this stuff on me.
Thank you so much for being our guest. Any other things?
yeah, I mean, eventually, would you want to have those in libraries? I mean,
They are.
There are libraries already.
Okay,
So
So from going to libraries now having your book in a library, like that's full circle. Shit.
yeah, it is crazy to have them in both English and Spanish. So if you go to your local library, look out for the book. It's definitely in the New York Public Library and Chicago Library System.
Awesome.
They voted
Wow.
it best book of the year. So
Hell
it's
yeah.
in there.
Nice.
So
Congratulations.
Love that.
Love that.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I think this is a really fun, interesting, just good times today.
Yeah, I
really
didn't know you
enjoyed
were
it.
such a big nerd, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to nerd out, but
No,
No,
it's all
that's
good, man.
great,
Yeah.
bro.
Can't wait to have you back, and thank you for being here.
Yes,
thank you so
definitely.
much.
Congratulations, bro. All your
Gracias.
success.
Gracias. Thank you, man.
That being said, guys, you know what's up. Collector Strikes Back podcast. Subscribe right there, and we're good to go. You can catch me and Edwin. We're gonna be at Collectors. We're doing our own little festival at LA Comic Con, October 4th through the 6th. So please, you guys get your tickets. Hope to see you guys out there, and you know where to find us for our upcoming show dates too, as well.
Yep, yeah. Just Edwin San Juan on all social media.
Same here.
Yep.
Manny to the max. Not Edwin San Juan. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. May the force be with you. Peace.